If this is one of your favorite candies, then stick around because today we're turning this into a pie. Hey guys, I'm Myra from Low Carb Love, and today we're making a no-bake peanut butter pie that's sugar-free, low carb, and super delicious. All right guys, so our goal for this recipe is to make a crust that is sturdy enough to actually cut into it, okay? So this is gonna, again, we're resembling a Reese's peanut butter cup. So the filling is gonna be creamy and just like really decadent. Guys, you guys are going to be absolutely obsessed with this. So I already have everything laid out here. So we're going with a chocolate graham cracker crust because I'm really just trying to replicate like that peanut butter and chocolate balance that you get from the cups, okay? So, very simple. To make our crust, we're just tossing everything right into a bowl. The first ingredient we're adding in is some finely blanched almond flour. And we're gonna put in all of our dry ingredients first because I feel like it's just easier to mix and everything's just well incorporated. Okay, so we have our sweetener, and this is just a little allulose, and this is some Dutch processed cocoa powder. It's unsweetened. I really love the richness from this. This one, it's like a lot deeper than what you would get from like a Hershey's or even like a Trader Joe's brand. I used to grab them from there, but when I tried a double Dutch process, it's like really deep and you actually taste the chocolate. And then we have our cinnamon. And we're gonna give our dry ingredients a good little mix just so everything's well combined. Now we're gonna use some butter flavored coconut oil. The recipe lends for it being dairy free, so we're just gonna go the dairy free route, but if you're not, you can totally use butter and it's obviously gonna be delicious. Okay, and now we're gonna just give it a good mix. It's gonna look a little dry at first, but it's okay. It's gonna kind of resemble like wet sand texture. Because if it's too wet, then when you put it in, it just gets really greasy and nasty and you definitely don't want that. So anyway, it is gonna look a little dry and just know that that is completely normal. And we are going to, okay, so we're just gonna keep mixing until it's looking just a little crumbly like this. Okay, so we're grabbing our pie dish. I'm actually using a 9.5-inch pie dish, 24 centimeters. Because I know you guys are gonna ask. What we're gonna do is spray a little avocado oil and just add in our crust, okay? And you are gonna have to use your hands here. It's just gonna be the easiest. So if you don't like getting your hands dirty, you can use like a little spatula, probably something like this, and just kind of press it in. But hey, it's actually working really well. I was gonna say, gets to a point where you'll just want to use your hands. I'm just gonna try to flatten it as much as I can and try to kind of start forming it up the pie dish, just because I think it's gonna look really nice. Okay, so this is where you would use your fingers or your hands, and it's really just to get the crust to kind of rise up onto the pie dish. So, and that's if you want it. If you want a thicker crust at the bottom, then you don't have to do this. I just think it looks really pretty. Like, I think it looks really nice, and it really just gives it that traditional pie look. Okay, so before we get started on our filling, I'm gonna go ahead and place our crust into the fridge just so that it can start setting. So I ended up having to use my stand mixer, just so if you guys are making this at home, just know that in order to make like a really fluffy whipped cream, then you do want to use either a hand mixer or a stand mixer, okay? I mean, you can totally use a whisk, but it's gonna definitely take some time and a lot of arm work. So I'm just gonna toss all of our cream right into our clear bowl, and just so that we can mix everything right into a bowl. So our whipped cream already has our sweetener, our vanilla, and now what we're gonna do is combine our peanut butter. And we are going to fold everything in. Okay, so we wanna try to keep it as fluffy as possible. So no mixing, it's more of a folding movement. So just like that. And that is going to give you the fluffiness that you need for this, okay? So this is the folding technique. You just go scoop from under, fold over, right? Instead of mixing. So filling is done. Let's grab our crust and pour it in. There it goes. Ooh-wee. And do you see how it has that nice height to it? That's what you don't want to get rid of. So that's why we fold versus mix. Okay, so now we're just gonna smooth it over a little, kind of try to keep it in the center and inside of the crust, just because I think it looks a lot prettier that way. This little beauty is all done, so we're gonna let it set in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours. Guys, yes. Okay, let's go ahead and serve it. All right, guys, so my pastry chef skills they were a little off today, but you know what? I'm still actually really happy with the way they turned out, with the way this turned out. I feel like it still has like a little elegance to it. Definitely 1,000% delicious. And we're just gonna dig right in. So let's see the texture. Ooh, yes, with the crust. This reminds me of like the silk pie. You guys know which one I'm talking about? Cheers. Oh my gosh. Okay, this tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but so much better because it's an actual pie. I just kind of keep digging in. Wow. Okay. The texture is very silky and creamy, not thick, not like super thick and dense, but very creamy. The crust is absolutely delicious. The perfect balance of chocolate with the filling that's like the peanut butter. It's like the perfect balance of chocolate and peanut butter filling. The last thing I'm going to mention, besides the decadent creaminess, the chocolate and peanut butter balance, I highly recommend that you use a crunchy peanut butter because it adds to the textures. So you have the creaminess and then you have like the solid crust, the crunchiness from the peanuts, and then, you know, just everything together is a perfect balance. All right, guys, so I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the recipe down in the description below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to share this recipe along with the channel with friends and family that are not only living a low-carb lifestyle, but maybe just wanting healthier alternatives to their favorite junk food. Thanks so much for being here. I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Mwah. Now I'm gonna go and enjoy my little piece of pie.